Hi everyone, how are you doing today? My name's Sam. I'm from the Fantom Foundation. Thanks all for joining today. It's going to be really exciting spaces with a lot of dApps from the Fantom ecosystem joining us here today. We are just waiting for LayerZero to also jump on, so bear with us another couple of minutes, and Irene from LayerZero will be up to kick us off. So, looking forward to chatting with everyone here today. And I see Irene's just joined. Tuk, tuk, tuk.
Hey Sam, can you hear me?
Loud and clear.
Amazing. I guess we can give it another minute or two for the other teams to join.
So while we wait, I'll just take this opportunity to talk about, I guess, some other initiatives that are also going on at the within the Fantom ecosystem. Um, Essentially, there are two, I guess, really unique um, opportunities for builders on Fantom to grow. One of them is through the Earn program or gas monetization program that was recently launched about 7 to 8 weeks ago, I believe. And it's already generated about 90,000 FTM in rewards for builders, which is really, really cool to see. It's starting to build up steam with a higher amount of Fantom being distributed each week. The way it works is if you're a builder building on Fantom, you can earn 15% of the contract, 15% of the gas that the contracts you've deployed earn from all of your users, and you can turn this into a revenue stream for yourself to maintain a sustainable dApp and grow for the long term. So that's one really cool thing that we've recently launched, and I just wanted to, I guess, talk about it a little bit here. If you have any questions, you can ping me after this spaces. Additionally, we also have something called the Vault, where it accrues 10% of all transaction fees. And we've put this towards a Gitcoin round that's coming up. We have over 700,000 Fantom that will be distributed in this next round. And we're looking to do something a little bit unique where normally in Gitcoin, dApps ask their users to, I guess, donate towards their project. This time we won't be requiring that. It's going to be a valueless token that users can essentially vote for the dApps that they think should get the support. So we're really excited to trial that. More news should be coming out about it in the next few weeks, and really excited to see those two initiatives roll out. But yeah, today really excited to be talking with LayerZero as well as some other Fantom dApps here today. And I think there's already been a bit of traction with LayerZero so far. I saw the NFT claims were in the thousands already, and I'm really excited to understand what's driving all this volume towards Fantom with LayerZero, as well as how dApps are taking advantage of, I guess, the bridging wars we see today of who's going to take the market share of Fantom.
Awesome, Sam. Thanks so much for setting the scene there. And I know a few of the builders are requesting to be able to speak. So as I am giving a bit of an intro here, it'd be great if we could keep bringing them up. I've had an amazing privilege over the last few weeks in getting to know most of the builders in the Fantom ecosystem. I know Sam and I had touched base first about 2 months ago, specifically on the topic of launching new assets to replace the multi-chain ones. And this was prior to the multi-chain hack. LayerZero and Stargate have been building in the Fantom ecosystem for more than a year now. In fact, our contracts are the highest gas consuming ones across the entire ecosystem. So it made a lot of sense for us to lean into the space and create these new assets and also just lean into supporting builders, particularly on the DeFi side. So it was through this entire initiative that I was able to spend time with the projects joining us here today, and have learned a lot more about what they're doing beyond just adding support for the LayerZero assets and deprecating the multi-chain ones, adding new features, for example, expanding to other chains, upgrading how they enable users to bridge within their protocols. So many amazing things. And it has been a very difficult few weeks, and it has not changed how steadfast LayerZero is in supporting the ecosystem. Our thesis around Fantom remains just as strong as ever before. Most of our team have been farmers in the ecosystem, users of the protocols for ages. And so our hope for this spaces is actually just to let the builders and founders of these protocols talk about what's exciting, some learnings from the past few weeks, and then also how they'll be working with us and the Fantom Foundation to do a lot more. So Before I start handing it off to some of the builders, some stats I just pulled this morning that are super exciting. LayerZero USDC now accounts for nearly 70% of all of the USDC assets in the ecosystem. And this holds true for all of the other assets. So USDT, LayerZero is around 70%, more than 70% on the WETH and wrapped Bitcoin side. LayerZero DAI is also the predominant version of DAI in the ecosystem. And then in collaboration with the Curve team, we now support CRV and Curve USD via Stargate. There hasn't been much announcement on that front, and I'm sure more will come from the Curve team, but these are exclusive through Stargate, and we've already started to see some DEXs organically create pools for this. So yeah, I'll stop there. Sam and Foundation members, anything you want to add before we start pulling up some of the teams to chat more about what they're doing?
I think yeah, you've nailed it really well there. I thought it was really cool the with the NFT claiming. We saw a lot of claims. I think within the thousands within 24 hours, which is really cool to see. And the other really interesting thing about Stargate is that they're a top earner on our gas M program. I think you guys have already earned like 12,000 Phantoms since coming over. So that's really cool to see that you guys are kind of leading the way there and showing that the Phantom can be earned through the program. But yeah, let's hand it over to the dApps here. I guess go to Velocimeter. Please introduce yourself, talk about how the new how LayerZero is supporting you, how things have changed recently, and how you're looking to grow to come out of this stronger.
Hey everyone, I'm Dunks. I'm one of the co-founders of Velocimeter. Yeah, just so we launched on Fantom, I think just a few days before the multi-chain, like sort of the final announcement from multi-chain. So like quite a quite an intense like period to be launching a protocol. And so we got a lot of support from LayerZero kind of early, just to essentially to create like we were busy in the process of like creating liquidity pools and sort of trying to grow the liquidity on the DEX. So we were lucky enough to be put in touch with the LayerZero team, and they were super helpful to work with us and getting assets set up and on some like technical aspects as the assets kind of like rolled out. So and now I think we're sort of like 4 weeks ish in. So and we're primarily like I think 90% of the assets we have in the DEX are in terms of USDC, USDT, WBTC, and WETH are all LayerZero, which is cool. And yeah.
Could you share a little bit more about? Yeah, I'm just super curious for you guys to share a little bit more about what differentiates your guys' protocol and what led you guys to wanting to start it on Fantom.
Yeah. So I think our DEX is based on the Solidly model and the Solidly code base. So it's pretty cool to be on Fantom where that all started. And we were like users of that protocol and users of Equalizer on Fantom, which is also solidly based DEX. And we're big fans of the Solidly model. The thing that sort of differentiates us is that our emissions are in options tokens. So essentially users are able to claim the emissions from providing liquidity, and then they can exercise those options, and they have 3 ways they can exercise them. So they can exercise them to a locked NFT, which they can use for voting. They can exercise them into like an LP pool, So essentially compounding the rewards into like a pool too, kind of a DeFi kind of term, which most people probably know. And then the final option is they can exercise them to liquid tokens, and then they can obviously, like, if they want to sell them, they can sell them. And so our kind of differentiator is that the fact that we have those options tokens. And then so it sort of produces an effect where you can sort of because like if users generally like they can choose a lot of users choose to kind of farm tokens and sell them. So if a lot of people are doing that, obviously the price goes down and LPs can get wrecked. So what we do is we take the when you exercise an options token, you pay. So you could pay 50%, and then of the underlying value of the token, say for example, and so that 50% goes to LPs. Or it could be in our model, it's actually more than 50%. So we sort of think of that like a kind of like an IL insurance, where the like funds from the value that's being extracted by the mercenary farmers, you could say, is kind of being redirected to like other participants in the protocol that are actually more aligned with the protocol and supporting it. Like, not that we hate mercenary farmers or anything or farm and dumping, like we definitely like see the value in that, and we also have, it's a part of the nature of DeFi, but it's awesome to be able to redirect some of that value to the LPs, for example. So yeah, that's kind of our point of difference. And then just to extend on that, we actually offer these options tokens as a service so that other partner protocols can use them on the DEX, and like a seamless experience, so they can configure the settings for them, they can mint them, then they can use them as bribes or liquidity rewards, or they could just airdrop them to like in a fair launch kind of method. And then the users can come and exercise them inside the DEX, and they can also use that feature that integrates where some of those funds again flow to the LPs, like when the exercising happens, or they can use it to raise like treasury funds as well. So that's kind of our that's really what differentiates us, the options tokens, and then leaning in even more on that and offering it as a service to protocols. Yeah.
Amazing. Thanks so much. Before we move to the next protocol, are there any like particular opportunities you want to highlight right now, or a call to action of sorts for those listening who are active in the space?
I would just say, yeah, just keep building on Fantom and keep using Fantom, and let's all just continue to grow the ecosystem together, and yeah, just keep doing what you're doing on Fantom.
Amazing. Another newer protocol, and one that has also adopted LayerZero assets as canonical on their platform, is DIP Exchange. I think we have you guys called up already. Would love if you could introduce what you guys are building and share a bit more about where you guys are headed. If we don't have DIP up right now, then I will instead pass the mic over to Owen from SpookySwap while the team sort of shifts some speakers around. Owen, you have been one of the earliest builders in the space, have also had a real pleasure to get to know you and your team over the past few weeks. Would be great to share more about your guys' learnings over the past few weeks, how we're working together, and then also your guys' roadmap and where you're headed.
Yeah, sure. I want to thank everyone for having me here to represent SpookySwap. It's obviously been a tough time for the ecosystem with this multi-chain exploit hack. I'm not sure exactly how we're defining it. However, I want to thank LayerZero coming into the ecosystem right at the right. I mean, I, at good timing, I guess. I mean, theoretically, I know you guys were here earlier. It would have been great if we'd all expanded a little more into other bridges, but it was great for you guys to come in and certainly help the ecosystem move from multi-chain assets to LayerZero assets. I want to say that LayerZero right now has the second highest liquidity pool on SpookySwap. It is the highest FTM USDC liquidity, which is great to see, and it's also the second highest by volume. So it's been really nice for you guys to come in and help, like I said, help the community transition away from these multi-chain assets. As a user, it's obviously been a very difficult time. As a builder, I think it's tough for the ecosystem in general. It kind of has happened where Spooky was making a transition into a different mode. We have been focused more on going multi-chain. We made a recent announcement for another network that we're going to be launching on in August. But we're also looking at expanding into a bunch of other products. One in particular we have coming out is it's like we have a proof of concept. I think we're kind of calling it a super DAO, but essentially it's going to be a DAO with community treasury and a new escrow model that we haven't seen before. We're already looking at ways of leveraging Uniswap X as an order filler, and we're starting our first conversations with partners that we want to help integrate it into this DAO. So we're excited about that. We have a lot of things we're building that we've been excited about. I think over the past year, we were kind of stuck in a mode where we weren't able to do some of the things we wanted to do and the market didn't help. So it's kind of ironic that this multi-chain thing happens right when we were looking towards all these new products and expanding. However, I think we're going to make the best of it. I think Fantom is still a great product. I think the Fantom virtual machine, everyone's excited about that, and I think we just have to do our best to hold on over the next couple of quarters or less until this, for one, the market turns around and Fantom's able to give us all the tech we've all wanted.
Amazing. Thanks so much, Owen. I was super impressed from our last conversation hearing about the broader roadmap, and I think the multi-chain and cross-chain approach actually does drive a lot of value back into the Fantom ecosystem. So I'm glad to see teams like yours thinking through that kind of architecture and also thinking through how this can extend even to the protocol token. And I know when Mummy joins later on, they can speak a little bit more about how their Mummy token integrating OFT or LayerZero's omni-chain fungible token standard has allowed them to do that exactly, as expanding across multiple chains. So moving on, WooFi, would love for you guys to step up and talk a little bit more about what you guys are doing in the Fantom ecosystem, work with LayerZero, and then from WooFi, we'll loop in Beefy and Morphex and Open Ocean to then allow some other teams to step up as well.
Yeah, sure thing, Irene. First of all, yeah, thank you so much for having us here. I can't think of anywhere else I'd rather be, to be honest, on this Friday evening than in a mega spaces with Fantom and LayerZero, and also many friends of ours, like in the ecosystem. I can see the Open Ocean account right now spamming hearts, are very good friends of ours, a really incredible WooFi broker, who have been supporting us for the longest time, as well as even SpookySwap. I believe Firebird is supposed to be here this evening. Yeah, good to see lots of friends here. For those of you who don't know me, I'm George. I'm basically head up WooFi marketing. We're a decentralized exchange, and our ties with both Fantom and LayerZero are very strong. We deployed in Fantom, I believe in early 2022, in around April. Very close to the Fantom team. They've kindly hosted us on their Vertical Blocks podcast before, which we're very grateful for. I believe we're one of the top 10 protocols earning gas rebates on Fantom, which again, we're very grateful for. And as for LayerZero, our connections stem from having been the first DEX to integrate with Stargate last year. which has been it's been very like mutually beneficial. I think we've routed maybe like 1.6 million cross-chain swaps, probably a bit more now across Stargate Bridge. And really our goal is to become like a cross-chain hub for DeFi, connect up all basically major EVM chains and allow people to easily and seamlessly like cross-chain swap between them. It's funny actually because like truth be told, our support for Fantom right now is a lot of our features are actually turned off. For those of you who don't know, where multi-chain protocol was compromised, and that $125 million of various assets were withdrawn to this unknown address. Unfortunately, like within that, I think there was about 9 million Woo tokens, which got withdrawn, and so it was in our interests to kind of act quickly and try and contain the risk of the corresponding 9 million unbacked Woo tokens at the time left in the Fantom ecosystem. So yeah, we shut down a lot of the features, but we're kind of looking at the ecosystem very closely as a whole right now. It's great to see LayerZero's new canonical assets being adopted so quickly, and I think it's highly likely in the very near future that we'll be adding back support. And when I say support, there are multiple features that we have on WooFi, like simple swaps, supercharger vaults, and cross-chain swaps. And I can say without a shadow of a doubt, we will be supporting LayerZero's assets. I think like from a builder's standpoint, or maybe just like an unbiased kind of objective standpoint, the ideal solution, right, would be to have native USDC issued by Circle. I think everyone understands that and would agree with that. But if you can't have that, like who better to step in and issue, for instance, like USDC than LayerZero? We hold the LayerZero guys in such high esteem. The kind of the protocol and the team that should be kind of issuing these assets really should have a pristine track record. They should be the kind of people who do things by the book, who dot I's and cross their T's. And in my opinion, LayerZero fits that bill perfectly. And yeah, very keen to support LayerZero's new canonical assets. I think also as well, it's important for whoever's issuing those assets to be very battle hardened. I think that's what inspires confidence. You just look at LayerZero having recently crossed 50 million transactions. Really, congrats on that, Irene. It really fills us with joy over here at Woo to see you guys thriving. And also Stargate, look at the success of Stargate. It really speaks for itself. I think now it's got 380 mil in TVL, which is really astounding. And that again, it's another great success that you guys have had, which I think again, it's just another reason why we believe you guys should be the ones kind of spearheading these efforts to kind of diversify these kind of breached assets in the Fantom ecosystem. Yeah, hopefully that gives a broader insight into what we're doing and how we look at the situation playing out at the moment.
That's such a thoughtful testimonial, and truly, from our perspective, having worked with you all on the LayerZero and Stargate side for a long time, we consider WooFi to also be a team that deploys and ships new code the right way. And so we're thrilled that you guys are doubling down on Fantom, and I'm sure Sam and the foundation feel the same way. I think next team we'd love to pull up is the Beefy team, and then from there, Morphex and Open Ocean.
Hey guys, can you hear me, right?
Yes, we can. Tell us more about everything
Awesome.
Beefy's doing and how we're working together, LayerZero and Beefy.
Yeah, I have a lot to share in that regard. First, I want to thank you for inviting me. Thank you to the people hearing in the space. I'm part of the business development team at Beefy. I have been collaborating for the DAO for almost 3 years. Beefy will turn 3 years old in September of this year, which is maybe a lot of time for some in DeFi. So we are very happy about it. And I also want to say that it's super encouraging to see so many cross-chain partners here. For example, Velocimeter, Beats, we have Chidao, Spooky, and I could keep naming, but it's super motivating to see all of you guys here. I will start first by sharing a bit about what is Beefy. Essentially, Beefy is a yield optimizer. We build our vaults on top of other yield sources. Most of the times, those are farms or different gauges, right? And what our vaults do essentially is compound the rewards given by these AMMs into more of what you deposited, right? This is quite good in many different aspects. The first one is that the users save time, right? Because doing all of these transactions manually can be fun the first week or the first 2 weeks, but when you have to do it like every day for some time, it becomes like a bit annoying. So Beefy automates all of that for you. Also, if you don't have like huge deposits, paying the gas fees can chip into your earnings. So there is another benefit added from our side there. And also, and maybe the most important part is that Beefy is a protocol that our first number one priority is safety, right? So all of the opportunities that you see in Beefy, all of the vaults that are built on top of different platforms meets our safety requirements, right? Basically, our development team makes sure that the platforms that we are building on top of are secure. We look for different functionalities in the contracts that can hurt the users, right? So basically, we try to add value there. What happens is that when a user sees a vault in Beefy, they know that our Solidity team made all of the required checks in order to build that vault. So I think that's quite powerful. Also, maybe to share a bit about the multi-chain, let's say, I don't want to say exploit because seems like it's not an exploit, something like a theft probably, but it's good to see the space moving forward, and it's good to see LayerZero and other bridges picking up the slack. We know that multi-chain had a massive amount of influence or TVL in Fantom. So it's super encouraging to see all of the protocols coming together and basically trying to rebuild on what was basically hurt by this problem. And I also want to say that it's a responsibility that we have to start calling the things by their names, right? We had a bunch of assets that seems to be like USDT, DAI, USDC that look native in Fantom, but they were really multi-chain assets. So I think that it's good to basically start naming the assets by their names, right? We see that in the different AMMs, assets are now called Axelar USDT or LayerZero USDT and stuff like that. But yeah, I wanted to mention that. Also, Irene, you mentioned that Beefy and Stargate have been working together. That is absolutely true. Just to share a bit, we are, well, the Beefy token was bridged by multi-chain, right? We are in the process of redeploying it on Ethereum now, and we will be using Stargate technologies and also LayerZero to facilitate this process. All of our protocol fees will get bridged to Ethereum using Stargate, technologies. We also got a grant from the Stargate DAO to build some new cool features on Beefy. This will look like as the possibility to exit and enter any vault in different chains, right? So if you want to move your position from Ethereum to Optimism, you will be able to do it all from the Beefy UI with really not a lot of transactions, right? And with a lot of fees. Finally, we will also use the Stargate messaging protocol to bridge Beefy to other layer 2s, like Optimism or Arbitrum, but also to Fantom, right?
Incredible. Thank you so much for talking through all of that. And I know from the Stargate side and from the DAO's perspective, we're super, super excited to see more of this being built out. And your point around consumer safety and token representation is one that I've cared a lot about for a long time and have seen the negative and positive effects of in other new ecosystems. So that's super thoughtful. Moving on, let's move to pull up the Morphex team. Would love for you to quickly share what you all are doing and how you guys contribute to the DeFi ecosystem within Fantom.
Hi, yeah. Thank you, Irene. I'm Morpheus representing Morphex. And we're very excited to see really strong cooperation between the Foundation and LayerZero on rebuilding the ecosystem with new and safer bridged tokens. So, as a brief sort of rundown on our protocol, at the core of it lies a token called MLP, which is an index of blue chip crypto assets that serve as market making liquidity. And so the majority of those tokens do happen to be bridge tokens such as Bitcoin, ETH, USDC, USDT. And so as we are a perpetual trading platform, we were quite affected, obviously, due to the multi-chain incident, forcing us to shut down operations. But thankfully, due to the swift response of the Foundation and LayerZero, of course, new bridged assets became available. So we were able to redeploy our MLP with both LayerZero and Axelar assets, enabling the protocol to function normally again. So we're really excited to see users returning back to Fantom alongside liquidity flowing back into MLP through secure bridges such as LayerZero. And as we've been able to resume operations now and continue to scale liquidity, we'll soon be announcing to attract more users our much loved weekly trading competitions, as well as offering various categories of rewards. One of these include volume rewards, which has a pretty low barrier for entry for users to win. And so we're excited to assist in attracting new users from other chains to come to Fantom to trade. Another one of our products that we're excited in the future to release quite soon would be Wrapped MLP, which is a auto-compounding wrapper for our market-making liquidity. This was previously available as collateral on the lending platform screen, and they are here with us today. With this, borrowing against Wrapped MLP introduces new yield opportunities, such as looping strategies and effectively being a self-repaying loan. We're excited to continue to work with Dudeson from Scream on re-enabling this soon for users on Fantom. We'd also like to say that another one of the exciting things being built to us at the moment is FVM, which we are one of the founding protocols partners. And it allows new and established protocols to scale their native liquidity using their innovative options model. And in addition to that, they also have bribe rebates for protocols, incentivizing higher bribes from protocols. In turn, this supports their holders of VEFVM while supporting protocols such as Morphex to drive more emissions to their pools. And so to leave a sort of summary, I guess, we'd like to say that we're confident in the future of Fantom, and we want to do our part in sort of helping to scale the network by attracting users and liquidity. Fantom, especially for our use case, it's an absolutely great chain for perpetual trading as transactions are extremely quick and fees are very cheap. So we're excited to see this new chapter of Fantom begin with our new bridge partners. We look forward to working alongside with Foundation and LayerZero, as well as all other protocols present in this space, to bring users back and to create a flourishing DeFi ecosystem on Fantom. Thank you.
Amazing. Thank you so much. And I love the resounding commitment and confidence in the Fantom ecosystem. It's morning where I am in Vancouver, and it's a great thing to hear at the start of the day. Now on to OpenOcean. Would love to hear from you all and a summary of what you guys are focusing on and how the last few weeks have been for you in the rebuilding phase.
Yeah, absolutely. Hello, everybody. My name's Guy. Thank you very much for inviting us here today. Huge thanks to the Fantom Foundation, to the LayerZero guys. Yeah, it's been amazing. And I actually see quite a lot of friends of ours in the speakers list, so big hello to all of our partners. But yeah, Fantom has always had a special place in our heart, so to speak. It was actually one of the first few chains that we launched aggregation services on. I actually realized I didn't give a summary of us. OpenOcean is a multi-chain DEX aggregator. We aggregate liquidity sources from over 300 unique LPs, and we do that on 28 different chains. obviously we're talking about Fantom, and that was one of the first that we launched on. And it was really been our goal from the start to always deliver on our capital efficiency for traders on chain. And I think Fantom has always helped us, push the boundaries of what's possible. And we, as a platform, we started to move beyond DEX aggregation and build out other features. For example, we have limit orders, a governance DAO, perpetual futures. But I mean, one of the things that's been really big for us was our cross-chain swaps. So, and Fantom was actually, one of our most popular chains that we transacted to and from. And what we do is we sandwich our proprietary algorithm technology in analyzing the most efficient assets to take cross-chain. And then we partner that using several of our different partners' bridge technologies. And so, in terms of where we're coming from a flexibility standpoint, obviously with the multi-chain event that's happened a few weeks ago, we've seen this massive new need, obviously, to want to have those really good stable coins that people can know and trust from sources such as LayerZero. We were really quick to roll the new assets out on site, and that means that we have full support for trading for all those assets, including limit orders as well, if you want to get involved with those. But if I'm sort of zooming out a little bit and I'm focusing, big picture where we see ourselves, our role within the Fantom ecosystem, and more importantly, having those assets that we can know, that we can trust. We've been saying this for a while. We're focused on making sure that when those users sort of start their journey in DeFi, they come off that centralized exchange, they start their journey on chain. We want to be there to facilitate that, and I think that Fantom, goes miles for us in order to be able to do that. For example, we can support fiat on ramping all the way through to trading, whether they want to take those tokens onto another chain, and at the end when they need to, eventually cash out, we want to be there to support all of that. But I mean, so sort of looking long term, we're kind of building a personal DeFi asset management platform. Obviously, we wanted those integrations to be rock solid before we move forward on being able to deliver this. Imagine having a comprehensive overview of your whole entire platform. So of your whole entire portfolio, so think like a DBank, but then being able to go and interact and perform all the necessary actions you need to from that one site. So just to highlight how this could work, for example, I load up my Fantom wallet and I can see all of my positions, the tokens that I hold, and I can take a loan from Taro Finance, for example, directly from the dashboard, or I can interact with staking pools from other platforms who are live, or yield aggregators who are live on Fantom. So our goal is to remove as much friction as we can when dealing with those other platforms and new sites. And that's how we ultimately, can attract users to Fantom and sort of grow this space. But, I want to say a massive shout out and a really big thank you to the LayerZero guys, because obviously, DEX aggregation is what we do. We do trading. We rely on a lot of partners in this space, and being able to have those, trustworthy assets that we can rely on, we know are going to be safe to transact with. We have a lot of traders using our platform. We're able to get support up for those assets really, really quickly, after all the recent events. So yeah, I mean, it's been nothing but I think positive outlook from our side. Obviously, anytime something like this happens, the community comes together, and we find a way, whether it's a competitor of ours or even a partner of ours, or someone who has and can share that same goal as us. We find a way to push through it and to make it work. And I think I obviously just came off a space previous to this one about Fantom, and I'm going to echo the same message that I said here. We are chain agnostic ideally, but we're kind of really secretly bullish on Fantom, the whole ecosystem, and this general push towards really pushing the boundaries of what's possible with DeFi, but also attracting people at the same time. So yeah, I want to say a massive thank you to the LayerZero team. Huge thank you to Fantom, who have also been in such great contact with us, and to our friends in the speakers. Hands up in the air, big love to you guys. We want to continue making this space as good as we can. We want to be able to continue delivering our main products with as much confidence as we can, and really pushing the boundaries of capital efficiency on chain. Yeah, I think that sort of comes to the end of that bit. But yeah, thank you very much for having us here. And yeah, anytime you guys want to go and do some training in the future, make sure you check out OpenOcean, give us a follow.
Amazing. Even during your run through right there, I've had a few teams DM saying that they want to get in touch with you guys at OpenOcean. So I'll make those intros right after, and love the love that's going on in this spaces. Next up, let's have Scream speak. And I think we're lucky enough to have Dudes on here, who is a prolific builder and has worked with many of you all.
Hey, yeah, thanks so much for that kind introduction. Yeah, so for those who don't know, I'm Dudeson. You also might know me. I'm a community dev at Yearn, and I also for about the past year have been helping with Scream. I think that OpenOcean said it really well, actually, that personally a big goal for me is trying to meet users where they are, when they off ramp from a SEX, and show them the benefit of interacting directly off chain. For the past few weeks, we've been working pretty closely with LayerZero, especially with the FVM team. While we really think that liquid lending markets are crucial to having a healthy DeFi ecosystem, and allowing users to maximize the value of their assets. So that's why we care so much about lending markets at Scream. And as we know, LayerZero are, as we just heard, are the most liquid assets on Fantom right now. So, through our collaboration with FEM, I've really enjoyed working and building and consulting with that team and other protocols coming together there. We've been pushing to increase spot liquidity of a lot of those LayerZero assets as well. And yeah, I mean, this has been an interesting few weeks for sure. I think there's been a lot of chaos, but I think there's also been a lot of opportunity. And in general, I'm actually really bullish looking forward. I wouldn't be here if I weren't. I'm really enjoying building in this space, and I think there's a really, really bright future for Fantom and all of the protocols here, in the space, and LayerZero. And yeah, I'm just really excited to keep on building.
Yeah, I love what you said about chaos and opportunity. Definitely have found that having been building in this space for a little while, every time there is chaos, it presents a pretty unique opportunity. Thank you for that. And now to pull up DIP Exchange, who should be a speaker. Yeah, please, you guys are one of the newest protocols. Tell us more about why you chose to launch on Fantom and what's ahead.
Yeah, hey guys. Amber here representing DIP Exchange. I actually felt quite lucky, in fact, that as Irene just mentioned, we're not really, we haven't launched our mainnet yet. We've actually had our testnet promotion just to check out to make sure that everything is in order. But really appreciate the opportunity to speak out and to also connect with the key builders in Fantom that's been OG and whatnot. Our history really goes back all the way from, I would say, we're a group of devs, traders, degens from all different chains where we've been liquidity providers, traders, victims of FTX incidents, and fortunately did not, I would say, being a victim of multi-chain incidents so far. But we're very glad that obviously we're such a reputable project, and with good tech like LayerZero has, I would say, turned ship to make sure that we can, us as builders, are safe to really develop on. One major reasons why we chose Fantom instead of, for a perp dex, right? Sorry guys, yeah, DIP Exchange basically is a perp dex where we have, we base it on liquidity pools instead of on order book style. But I do envision that we will be in a combination of both. So we do foresee a combination of order book and liquidity providing quite soon as well. But one of the major reasons why we actually started building on Fantom was actually two main points, right? Number one, as you know, the Morphex team has already outlined, it's cheapest for the traders, right? So, you know, there's no doubt about that. So, you know, I think, you know, as any builders would like it, it's the most important part of building something is to make sure that our users, i.e. the traders or liquidity providers, get the most benefit out of it. Second point is really aligned with our vision, right? And our essential vision is really, you know, our team is not as of an expert as, for example, the Screen team or any of the major DeFi architects that are out there. We're quite closer towards, I'll say, the idea about bringing traditional assets and traditional, I'll say, even fiat to the crypto ecosystem. What that means is that, you know, we don't want people to really feel like they're trading on a perp DEX, but rather something they're very used to, whether it's Binance or even Bybit or even FTX. And those key features really aligned with, I would say, Fantom's roadmap of, you know, integrating count abstraction, making sure that whether, you know, a banking system is actually set upon as well. You know, we're working quite close to companies like Transact or Ramp to figure out a way to make sure that, you know, users don't even need to go through a centralized exchange. You know, they can either just go straight to their MetaMask wallet and, you know, top up their balance in you know, in sort of the Fantom ecosystem in general. And I'm hoping that obviously LayerZero also assets are integrated with those fiat on and off ramps quite soon as well. Not to sound sort of demanding, but
Hi everyone, thanks for rejoining. A little bit of troubleshooting on Spaces. I think it's kind of known for that. So now we're getting the authentic experience, which is good. So as everyone comes back online, just give us a few more minutes, and then I think we'll have some more great applications talking very soon. Thanks everyone for your patience. While we wait, Beavis, would you like to take the stage and talk?
Yeah, sure. Thanks everybody for your time, I guess. You know, the main thing that I've seen since the incident has been a lot of inspiration, a lot of, you know, people doubling down on their commitment to Fantom. And you know, I think early on, a ton of people were asking me, you know, is Fantom dead? Is Fantom, you know, blah, 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 blah. And I would respond, you know, we've seen what happens after big bridge hacks or related issues, and it's not people moving in and doubling down. You know, it's not LayerZero, one of the biggest companies in the space, you know, putting their support on the table immediately afterward, or Axelar, who's similarly very large. So, you know, we were actually kind of in the process with Velocimeter of onboarding our ERN stablecoin onto their platform when all of this happened. And it was like, you know, the craziest timing in the world, because they were just launching. And, you know, we sent him over to LayerZero. We were like, dude, like, you know, it seems like everybody's here to kind of support a recovery effort. And that's really all we've seen since is whether it be in spaces like this or otherwise, teams seeing on Fantom an opportunity to be a part of one of the most vibrant ecosystems in the space. And, you know, I think the bear market is definitely the time to flush out all of this insecurity. And we've seen it, you know, it seems like every quarter there's some massive tragedy that one of us or you know, somehow we're related to, especially as people that work in the industry. And I think with LayerZero and with Axelar moving in to help, reestablish some of these standards, it's really all I can think is better to happen now than a year from now. And I know saying that is a little bit selfish, of course, because so many people were hurt by the incident. But at the end of the day, I see improvement happening in real time. And a huge thanks to Irene for organizing a lot of these efforts. And I think LayerZero's interest is really what sparked a lot of other people's interests. And working with the LayerZero team has been really, really great. And they've been really great organizing events like this. And I guess I just mirror, the same sentiment as the Open Ocean gang. We're multi-chain by necessity in this market, but I think Fantom in ours and a lot of people's hearts holds a special place. And it's just grassroots builders trying to improve the industry and trying to set new standards. This is a really, really big speed bump, but I think, on one hand, it could have been worse. And on the other hand, I think it showed everyone that Fantom is as alive as it's ever been. I guess my plug will be the ERN token is a decentralized stablecoin that we're working with Velocimeter and Equalizer and Spooky and other teams to get adoption on Fantom as a decentralized analog to some of these other stable assets, and working with LayerZero and Axelar to help push bribes onto these platforms and help reignite some of the excitement of LPs has been a big part of our mission. So you can check it out at ethos.finance. And otherwise, we're going to keep seeking opportunity on Fantom and finding cool ways to serve their user base, being, I think, one of the most naturally homegrown, home cared for user bases in the whole industry. So thank you to LayerZero, I think, especially for leading the way in rekindling some of this excitement. Much love to the Fantom team. I guess, maybe, taking it a step further, they certainly did not shy away from the issue, which, in the history of big tragedies like this, teams have, they've hidden behind their DAOs or they've done this, that, whatever. And seeing Sam and Michael, Nick just kind of go hard and confront the problem head on has been really inspiring. And that's what we like to see at leaders. That's what we like to see from foundations. And, I'm excited to rebuild with you guys and, keep incubating and working on projects on Fantom. Because at the end of the day, we know Fantom chain is good chain. So I think it's going to take a lot more than an incident like this to invalidate that fact. Thanks.
Thank you so much for the really thoughtful comments there, just around the last few weeks, but also even the last 2 years and some of the learnings there. And we also have thought it was a total pleasure working with you guys, and we'll have many, many more months and years hopefully ahead working with the Byte Masons team. We have 3 more teams we want to pull up and highlight before we end the spaces. So next we'll have the QDAO team come up and talk a little bit more about how QDAO fits within the Fantom ecosystem and what's ahead for them. And then from there, Beats and Equalizer.
Hey everyone, thanks so much for having us. Special thanks to Irene for planning everything out. Really appreciate how industrious the LayerZero team is, always first, always organizing things. And nice to see everybody else as well. I think we work with every single one of you. QDAO has been in Fantom through the best of times and the worst of times. We've worked with every single major project in Fantom with the Fantom Foundation. And so it's been a wild experience being on Fantom. Obviously now it's probably not the best of times, right? A lot of people in this space, a lot of users lost a lot of money, and so obviously looking forward to seeing that being resolved as much as it can be. And yeah, I mean, it's great. Like Bebby said, when Moonbeam, when they were hacked, you didn't have a bunch of like LayerZero and other like major teams come out and say, this is not dead. We're still gonna support people. So I mean, that's pretty bullish on Fantom. And then yeah, I also want to talk a little bit about what Frondota said from Beefy Finance, that it's very important for us to clearly label the assets and say, this is from LayerZero, this is from Axler, this is from multi-chain, and that should happen not only in the dApp layer, but also in the scanners. I think we still have like wrap BTC from multi-chain there. So it's very important so then people can make their own decisions about what kind of risks they want to take on. But yeah, I mean, want to say that protocol from Chirao, we're very much still supportive of the Fantom ecosystem. We're like the largest stable coin and have been for the last 2 years. And so obviously we're still going to keep supporting the Fantom ecosystem. And yeah, very thankful for LayerZero and the canonical bridging structure that we created basically 2 years ago, because as a result of that, we weren't really hurt in terms of my being stolen by the multi-chain hacker, because we were able to just remove all the liquidity. And so that's very important, because that means in a future where this whole thing is resolved, we can resume bridging into Fantom and continue our integrations there.
Thank you so much, Benjamin. And then Gregory from Equalizer, and then we'll have Beats team close out.
Yes, hello Irene, hello everyone. Thanks Fantom and LayerZero for inviting us and having us here. So yeah, first of all, just a quick rundown on what Equalizer is. We're a native liquidity hub on Fantom. We're a governance-driven model where we drive emissions based on a V model to the most efficient pools. But on top of that, there's the native bribing system where we also act kind of a self-service liquidity hub for protocols to drive liquidity efficiently through our flywheel effect. We're based on the Solidly model. We're actually the second significant Solidly fork. We started running back in November, and since then we've done a really impressive job in innovating on top of this. It's very well. We personally love the model, but I also personally think it's one of the most interesting innovations that recently happened in DeFi, having a new primitive that many new builders can build upon. So we're very proud to have been the first Solidly fork on Fantom, where it was born back in, what was it, like 10 years ago? It was like one and a half years ago, more or less, but then we were able to tap onto this super OG community of people that really understood the power of the game theory behind the flywheel effect of this DEX that Andre implemented. I think most of us are here in Fantom partly because of Andre's genius. I would say in DeFi, we're all kind of DeFi hardcore teams building the future of France. And yeah, we all love Andrew and what he did for DeFi. So yeah, on top of that, we're really pushing the boundaries now, integrating a perpetual DEX into this Solidly model, so into our governance system, which is allowing us to drive even more volume on the chain. We're consistently one of the top 3 DEXs on Fantom by volume for a large number of months now. So yeah, we're very, very proud of all that we have achieved. And now that the LayerZero is pushing their assets into Fantom, again, we would all have loved to have them a bit earlier. It was really, really unfortunate the way that events happened with multi-chain assets, but at least the way we see it from the Equalizer team is There's very little we can do looking back and trying to recover any of the assets. We can bring awareness to our community. We're very diligent in informing our community as fast as possible when the information was flowing in that crazy Thursday where we announced the LayerZero implementation and assets bridging into the chain, and then what happened with multi-chain happened. But what we really see is that what we can do is to look forward and look into the future and be the liquidity hub that we are designed to be, and try to leverage that to bring more liquidity and more volume and more DeFi activity into Fantom. Also echoing some of the things that were said. We all love Fantom because of its amazing performance. The UX most of the time is unparalleled on any other chain. The cost, the speed, and the finality allows builders to really push the boundary of what can be done in DeFi. I see Fantom as like a DeFi innovation hub. I'm personally really proud to have seen all these teams that we looked up to going into new chains and doing amazing stuff, and we're now here building the future. So really excited. We have some LayerZero opportunities on our decks. I'm going to jump into that. Many of our listeners are APR junkies. So yeah, we have Fantom USDC right now at 43% APR with only 120K. So there's a really good opportunity in there. And what most people love is stable coins APRs. And we have right now 25% on the USDC USDT pair of LayerZero stable coins. So do go and dilute that pool because it's fucking amazing. I don't know if I get to say the F word here. So yeah, really excited of what the future can bring to Fantom and what LayerZero is doing to pushing the chain forward. So yeah, really thankful for all of that.
Amazing. Thanks so much. And we're excited to be leaning into some more collaborations with you all at Equalizer as well. Last but definitely not least is Franz from the Beats team. Beats was actually one of the first teams that I had gotten in touch with specifically about this initiative. And I'm so grateful that Daniel from Beats had taken time on his holiday to talk on the phone, I think, for a few hours about strategy and what's needed for the Fantom ecosystem to sort of be revived and thrive moving forward. So, Beats is a close thought partner of ours. Franz, please take us home and talk a little bit about what Beats is doing now and ahead.
Hey, thank you very much for the introduction. And yeah, unfortunately, Daniel can't be here. The time slot really didn't fit his sleep schedule. So I'm Franz. I'm one of the other devs at Beats. And yeah, happy to be here, happy to represent Beethoven here. So yeah, as you said, we've been working together like pretty much from the start when all the chaos happened. And it's funny that it was actually also my vacation week. So during that week, I was basically creating new pools every evening when the little one was asleep. So yeah, it was chaos time. But as many people before me already said, it's also a good time for opportunity. And also we at Beat core protocol and state. Our strategy kind of going forward is really doubling down on the core offerings that we can provide to the ecosystem, which are, of course, our weighted pools. And we actually have recreated one of our most beloved stable pools, which is the quad crypto pool, like the late quartet. We called it layered quartet this time because it consists of all LayerZero assets. And which is a really cool pool, and we're hoping to see similar adoption than what we have seen before. Then, in addition, also the strength of the balancer metastable pools when it comes to liquid staked tokens, where the biggest advantage is that any LP actually earns the yield of the liquid staked token instead of just giving it to arbors in that sense. And we're also working together with Stager and Anchor and trying to get these pools up and running and like our core pool offerings. And then I think the last thing that we're most famous for is our boosted pools. And we're really eagerly awaiting any lending markets and yield aggregators spinning up vaults and markets for LC assets, so we can recreate our boosted pools as well, generating additional yield for the LPs for any of the kind of idle assets in these liquidity pools. So we're really looking forward to that and hoping to see these vaults and markets come to life in the coming weeks, months. Yeah, I mean, for us, it was really, I mean, we all basically knew there was this multi-chain risk, but I guess nobody really believed it's going to happen and it's going to go down as it went down. So it was super chaos, and I think we are at Beats in a really lucky position that we also have been working together with Balancer really close over the last 6 months, and even became a service provider 3 months ago, basically helping Balancer drive value to core technology and even create impact on any future developments of Balancer technology, which is super cool. So speaking of the kind of latest Balancer technology, it's one of the coolest things I've seen recently, and which I actively helped kind of integrate, is the concentrated liquidity pool built on top of Balancer pools, or on top of the Balancer vault, to be precise, built by Gyroscope, which went live on Optimism a few weeks ago, 2 weeks ago actually, which is a really cool concept. And we are actually eager to bring that concept to Fantom as well. We're talking to Gyroscope, hoping to launch a concentrated liquidity pool for a stater or a anchor staked Fantom pool on Fantom as well. So yeah, it's exciting times ahead. I think I really need to reiterate about there's chaos and then there's opportunity. And yeah, really looking forward to the next weeks and months. It's going to be interesting how this all plays out.
Definitely, and you guys will play a really big role in that. Just sort of teasing some of the new things you're building is a great indication of that, and it's very net new and novel for the ecosystem. So before I hand it off to Sam to close us out, I want to thank all of the founders and builders from the protocols across the Fantom ecosystem who joined us today. Some of them called in from 4 a.m. across the world. Others, it's super late at night, and this was definitely a last minute effort to showcase what each of these teams are doing, but then also highlight the rebound of the ecosystem and the adoption of LayerZero assets. So as I'd said at the beginning, we're super thrilled to see that LayerZero assets now account for just about 70% of all of the stable assets across the ecosystem. And as you can tell from some of these projects, there will be a lot to watch and play with coming from their protocol teams over the next few weeks and months. So Sam, close us out, and any last remarks from the Fantom Foundation?
Thanks, Irene. And like you said, thanks everybody for attending today. I'm sure someone's up, but yeah, like you mentioned, 2 a.m., 3 a.m., which is just shows the dedication of our community and of the builders on Fantom. I just want to say we really appreciate everyone building on Fantom, no matter what you're building, what vertical. Everyone counts here, and especially, if you're a part of the spaces or you're listening later, I would love to, talk with you. Reach out to me anytime you want. My handle is @SAMHARC, and we can chat about how the foundation can help you build and expand your project. This is a very volatile time, but we can come out of this very, very strong. We do have a great battle plan that's lining up, and we're really excited to start deploying this and continue to grow. So over the next few quarters, we are going to see some big changes around the foundation and our kind of pathway to come back stronger from this. And I'm really excited to start to showcase these over the coming months, if not sooner. So thank you everyone for your support. Really appreciate it. And looking forward to the next one. We should have more of these more often. And I'll speak to you all soon, hopefully. So thanks, everybody.
Thanks so much. Talk with you all soon.